What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. It is the 6th day of September, and here we are at about $2.80 with 1 day and about 7 hours left in the week, right? 7 hours, 20 minutes left in this day here. $2.80 is the price. We are definitely grinding out this low area, and I like to put it in this perspective. Now, don't think that what I'm about to say is some kind of cheat code to tactical analysis, all right? Just because I say this and it's true a good bit of the time doesn't mean that it's true every time. There's other things you got to look at. But when you're in an area where you're finding support, right? When you're in an area like this where you're finding support and you get a reaction that's positive and you get a reaction that's a little bit less positive, then you don't really get a reaction at all. That's a pretty telltale sign that you're going to go lower. You're probably going to go a little bit lower. I doubt that the low is in for XRP. Yes, it's a nice double bottom look, and sometimes do we grind out the lows and then they uphold anyways? Yes, they absolutely do. You know, here, let's see. But here, for a prime example, you found support in this area time and time again. Really good reaction, a less reaction, and then you had a stronger reaction here. Did you go lower? No, you went higher, right? Do we have it right here? I mean, in this area, right, positive reaction, decent reaction. Whenever you got down here, you were below. Were you having any kind of positive reaction? Not really, but you still went up, right? That was that kind of calm before the storm. So it's not a perfect kind of thought, but all I'm trying to say here, and even here, right, this reaction was pretty weak compared to that reaction, compared to that reaction, compared to that reaction, but still you moved up. So it's not a perfect thought, but you know, I could poke holes in it left and right, but I could definitely find, if I went over like 10 random examples, I'd probably find more that are going toward what I'm saying than against what I'm saying. All I'm trying to say is we're going lower. We're probably going to go lower. And I think if we look at the short-term indicators, we'll see that that's true. But before we do, I do want to remind everybody who's watching this video that XRP does have a lot of growth to go, okay? It's not done here. $2.80 is not the highest price that we're going to see between now and the end of this year. $3.66 is not the all-time high of this cycle. We've got dramatically, fantastically higher prices to go to, okay? Absolutely we do, in a very, very short amount of time. And we can make sense out of that left and right, but I probably will make a video that makes more sense out of why I believe we're going to $13 and above, right? I think in my last XRP video, if it wasn't the last one, it was the one before, we went over in detail why I believe we're going to see at least something that's above $12 by the end of this year, if not by the end of this next move, which could be in October. But we're definitely going to move up at a very fast pace, and when things get kicking off, I know that to some people, going from $2.80 to $12, that's moon boy talk. That's crazy. XRP could never. Why would that happen? You're just saying that for clicks. I get it. But you know, the reality is here, you did a near 7x move between, you know, late October to early mid-January there. I'm not even calling for that exact same move. I'm calling for something that's lesser than that. And then you'll have people with the arguments saying, well, yeah, but back here, you know, we were at lower market caps. Now we're at a much higher market cap. It's going to be harder to move up. Not really. Back here, we had to eat through price action that we've been through before. Here, we're at new all-time highs. There's nothing holding us back. Back here, we didn't have the announcement that there was a United States Crypto Strategic Reserve and that XRP would have status in that reserve. We didn't have that announcement. Hold on, guys. We didn't have that announcement, but now we do, right? Now there's all this bullish momentum. Now the world is aware of the bullish things to come for XRP and with XRP. So I'm saying, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if we had an easier time moving up. But, you know, maybe this move will be a little bit, in regards to where we are here at this current price or at this low here, it will be a little bit smaller. I don't think we're going to move up to 1860. I'm not saying it can't happen. It certainly could happen, but I'm more expecting that we probably stop at about like anything from $11.50 to about $16.50, something in that kind of area. That's my expectation. Hold on. Okay, cool. Just making sure my daughter didn't need anything. Anyways, looking at this on a short-term perspective, let's look at the 1 hour time frame here. Yeah, XRP going to $13 might be a hard thing to wrap your head around, but the thing is, man, XRP, when it moves up, it moves fast. When I say it could happen by the end of October, you know, it's the same thing. It's the same call that I made whenever I was like, it's going to happen by the end of June. It's going to happen by the end of July. And it never happened. The reason why is because we kept consolidating. Maybe instead of giving it a time frame, I should just say that when it happens, it's going to be a very short-lived move. So will it happen in October? I would think so. But if we don't make the move until November, then it might happen in December, and that's okay. Whenever this move happens, which will likely be by the end of the year at the very latest, it's going to be spectacular and it's going to be fast, because that's the only thing, that's the only way that XRP knows how to move. That's just how it is, because you have these long-term phases of accumulation where institutions are literally buying this thing up, really throughout its whole life. That's how it's been, but also especially so now. So whenever that supply shock comes in, that price just ease of access to the upside. That's what happens. We're at new all-time highs. Talk about ease of access. Breaking out of a multi-cycle consolidation phase. Talk about ease of access. We are definitely going to rip to substantially higher prices. And anybody who sells at $4, who sells at $6, who sells at $10, they think that they're a genius. You know, good job. You're going to make profits, and to that degree, you are a genius. But no, you're not. You're not selling at the top. You're definitely not selling anywhere near the top. The top will be somewhere around $13 to $17. And that's just the momentary top. The cycle top is going to be probably $40 or higher by the end of the cycle. So really, I don't think anybody has any business selling until we're in 2026. But that's a whole nother discussion, okay? Let's get focused here, all right? Now, that's financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just speaking freely because this is America, and we're allowed to do that, right? This isn't Britain. If we're looking at this here, looking at this from a point of resistance at the overbought zone to a point of support here, pretty volatile. Then you're not choosing overbought or oversold. You got into the overbought zone a little bit, but you're just very volatile and neutral really throughout this whole range. We can see it in the price action. You are in a bearish posturing now, bearish posturing with the stochastics and bearish posturing with the MACD. I wonder what's going to happen. We're probably going to go to the downside, right? These movements have been a little bit more robust to the downside than they have been to the upside. Any move up that you get just gets eaten into, so I would expect that we go lower. We did go up a little bit yesterday, which is nice, but it wasn't enough, right? Nice, but no cigar. Looking at this on a 4-hour time frame, stochastics are bearish, pointing down, looking like you want to get oversold. Couldn't even get overbought. You rejected it with the blue line. That is very bearish. And I remember saying it back here. I was like, the fact that you're far away from your orange line makes me think you're probably going to come down. I remember saying it. If it wasn't there, maybe it was on another candle. I want to say it was there, though. Anyways, maybe it was on another candle in a different chart, though. I don't know. Anyways, RSI looks bearish as well, getting overbought, and again, reluctantly so. You are oversold. You don't seem like you enjoy being oversold, but you certainly aren't getting to the overbought zone at all. You're trying, man, but you're just not getting there. I think you're going to come back to that oversold zone. With that, we should see slightly lower prices here. Your low at the moment is at about $2.70. I do anticipate that we will see lower prices than that, just slightly. $2.65, $2.50 at the most. Nothing crazy, nothing too crazy at all. We look at the MACD, pretty neutral. There's nothing really to go off of with that. I mean, sure, it's bearish overall, but it's whatever. The price action's moving sideways. I wouldn't lean one way or the other. These two indicators are more guiding than the MACD is right now, in my opinion. Daily time frame. Looking at the daily, just looking at the price for what it is, we're certainly in this kind of like downward sloping channel, right? Lower lows here, lower highs here, right? I didn't draw that the best. I don't know why, but for some reason I curve it whenever I draw. Let's try to draw a straight line. Boom. There we go. Oh, I did so good. That's if you've been watching my channel, you know I have a hard time drawing straight lines. That was pretty good, even with this little crook in the middle. But here we are in this channel, looking like we're at the top end of this channel. Come down. Come down. Where? 265, 255, somewhere right around this area of resistance. Do you stop right at this point? Maybe. That's at 266. Do you stop at the daily closing high? Maybe. That's right at 260. Do you go lower? Maybe. And it's fine if you do. It's totally fine if you do. Whatever causes the most capitulation. And speaking of capitulation, if we're looking at our XRP liquidation levels over the past 30 days, because people do trade XRP. If it would load, I believe in you. I believe in you, CoinGlass. You can do it. All right, there we go. I was actually about to refresh it. But there's a ton of shorts. There are a ton of shorts piled on for this thing, right? And a lot of these longs, too, do get cleared out at about, you guessed it, 260, 265, 266, right around there. So, and as we move down, there's going to be more longs. I bet before we clear out the shorts, we mow down the longs, then we come back up. If we look at the past day, I don't know, shorts and longs are probably, I was about to say, probably equal because we just haven't really moved. But I would think that we come down, we clear out a bunch of these longs. We're going to go below 270. There are a plethora of longs down there. There's definitely a lot more shorts. And I would expect that a reckoning for the bears, for the short sellers, is going to come. We're going to get a massive short squeeze, and it'll take us to new all-time highs. But before that, let's go a little bit lower first, okay? We look at this relative low here to this relative high. We're right below the 382. I would think that we go to the next fib level, which is at 264. Sometimes we do wick a little bit below the 0.5, and that's fine if we do that. 255, 260, whatever, something in that area. The more that I'm looking at it, the less that I think 250 makes sense. If we were to go to 250, we'd most likely go to 244. I just don't see us going that low. But anything can happen. Even if we go to 244 or 233, which would be pretty damn intense, honestly. But even if we did that, I think XRP is fine. We're still going to move up. That's the golden ratio. It's a higher low overall. If we're looking at this here, from this relative low, really the low of this consolidation phase back on April 7th to the high here, we bounced right off our golden ratio zone right there, right? So if we do the same thing here, whatever, it's not a big deal. Who cares, right? It's really not a big deal. But I doubt we go to 244. I doubt we go, really at this point, I'm starting to doubt that we go below 255 or even below like 260. We'll probably find support right at this prior area of resistance, and then that'll happen between now and the end of next week, if not sometime early the following week before the 16th of September is my thoughts, maybe right on the 16th. Then going into the end of the month, we should be rallying, right? It's not just an arbitrary date that I chose, 16th to 17th. That's the FOMC meeting. So whenever that happens, whenever the rate cuts are announced, I think that we will pump into the markets. I'm assuming that I hope the bacon's ready. I'm assuming that by the time we're around the 16th or 17th, there's going to be a lot of bearish media. People are going to be fearful. There's going to be fearful readings on the fear and greed index. People are pretty optimistic right now, but we're going to beat that optimism out of the markets. And then once that happens, then it's time to rally. I got nothing else for you guys. Hold out for that massive pump. It's coming, man. It is coming. We're nowhere near the top. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care of yourselves. All right. Bye-bye.